Welcome back to Comic Drops, where we take an intellectual look at comics. Today, we're diving into the extended preview of Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring #1, featured in IDW's free Comic Book Day special, Find Your New Fear. And trust me, this one's worth digging into. It gives us a deeper look into this new story arc, introduces key new players, and quietly sets the stage for something chilling. Now, call it a hunch or a deep read gut instinct, but I believe these preview pages serve as a kind of Chekhov's gun for this new series. The groundwork is being laid, slowly and intentionally. Names, locations, and emotional stakes. It all feels like it's a powder keg waiting to explode. And if you've read Beneath the Trees, you know Patrick Horvath likes to include small details and hints hidden within his panels. Everything serves a purpose in some way. First off, what is Chekhov's gun? Chekhov's gun is a storytelling principle that says if you introduce something early in a story, and the concept originally related to a gun sitting on a mantle, for example, it must be used later on. In other words, every detail should matter. If something's included or presented in a panel, it better have a purpose by the end of the narrative, or this might sabotage the experience of the reader or the viewer in some way. So when I say this preview feels like a Chekhov's gun, I mean that the emotional weight, subtle clues, and character details being introduced, like Daniel Brewer's sister, the internet message boards, and Sam's restless urges, probably aren't just atmospheric in nature. They're being planted now to be used later in the narrative. These aren't throwaway moments. They're the gun sitting on the mantle waiting to be used to complicate things. And if we've learned anything from Beneath the Trees, when things get complicated, things get bloody. And for those of us who have been itching to dive deeper into the world of Sam and Woodbrook, this new glimpse provides some rich material to unpack. Not only does the preview give us 5 additional pages beyond what was seen in the Hollywood Reporter exclusive earlier this year, but it's also available for free on the IDW app. So if you haven't already, go read it after watching this video. This preview sits among a handful of other teasers for IDW dark titles, including a new 30 Days of Night series titled Falling Sun, but Rite of Spring easily steals a spotlight here. So let's break down the story beats and what they tell us about this new narrative direction for Rite of Spring. The search for Daniel Brewer. We open on a tense conversation between a weary police officer, depicted as a bulldog, and a determined woman who's clearly worn down, but not defeated. We've had this conversation a dozen times already, the officer barks. And I feel like at this point it's a waste of time for both of us, don't you think? A voice off panel replies simply, I just wanted to make sure you had the latest flyer. That voice belongs to none other than Daniel Brewer's sister, who in a trailer that IDW released recently, we learn is named Monica. If that name rings a bell, it should. Daniel Brewer is one of Sam's victims from the original series. The woman isn't just handing out flyers, though. She's chasing ghosts. And I wanted to see if you had any new leads, she says, undeterred. The officer's response is pure frustration. Enough already. No, okay? No new leads. We'll let you know if we hear anything. Now go bug some other precinct. But Daniel's sister isn't someone easily brushed off. Her dedication is chilling in its own right. I have, Captain. I've made my way to all 127 precincts. I visit 2 a week, sometimes 3. It takes about a year, and then I start all over again. Every medical examiner's office has my contact info, and they call me in for any John Doe that even remotely looks like a match for my brother. And it hasn't been a dozen times that we've talked, only 8. That quote alone paints a haunting picture. She's been relentless, sacrificing her own life in pursuit of answers. Considering the original story ended in 1986 and Rite of Spring is set in the early 90s, we now know she's been searching for her brother for several years already. She hands over a card to the officer as well, in case you threw all the others away. A bitter jab that shows her lack of faith in the system and those looking for her brother. An obsession that redefines a life. The officer, perhaps trying to mask his own guilt, offers a half hearted explanation. Every day we get dozens of missing persons reports, but one or two, they just get swallowed up by the city. I bet you and I both know where some of those who get swallowed up go. A certain place beneath the trees where a certain bear likes to bury her murder victims. After she exits the office, Daniel's sister lights up a cigarette. Yes, inside the precinct. An atmospheric reminder that this story is firmly grounded in the 1990s. Another officer protests, "Hey, can't smoke in here." But she ignores him, walking straight through the cloud of bureaucracy and apathy. She only has one concern, and it is finding Daniel. Through internal monologue, we also get the line, "and brought me here," which confirms she's not originally from this city. She moved here, uprooted everything for this search for her brother. We later learned this move wasn't temporary either. She's been here for nearly a decade, her whole life put on hold. Next, we see her walking the drab streets of the city. 8 years. 8 years since I came here after Danny stopped answering his phone and returning calls. 8 years since he fell off the face of the planet. Now living in a city she hates, she works a dead-end job at a copy shop to stay afloat. When I realized I wasn't staying longer than a couple of weeks, I picked up a shitty apartment and applied for a job at a copy shop to cover rent. Now I'm the manager, and I make as many copies as I want for free. She stands at the copier, printing missing person flyers again. You can practically feel the routine wearing down her soul. From this missing persons flyer, we get additional information about Daniel. He was born February 12, 1963, making him 21 when Sam murdered him. Based on a flyer, we also learned that Daniel went missing in 1984, so that would put us in 1992 at this point. This would also confirm that the original series took place over a 2-year period, as it ended in 1986. The flyer also includes details of his clothing at the time, though it raises some questions. How would she know what he was wearing when he disappeared? Had she visited him that day? The cost of hope. Monica then returns home, and we even see a flyer stapled to a telephone pole outside her own apartment. She is covering all the ground she can with these. 8 years with my life on pause, and all the months blurred together. Later, while cooking dinner, she also reflects, "I'm not a fool. I refuse to let myself hope that he'll just pop up out of the blue. I just want closure." That's devastating. She doesn't expect a miracle. She just wants to find his body. Her evenings are spent online, eating alone, and scouring early 90s message boards for cold case clues. Her hope now lies in this emerging digital frontier. And then she types, "These message boards are about the only things that give me hope. Maybe one of you out there saw something or knows someone that can help me find his body." And then we also see that she's logged into a message board titled The Icebox, Cold Case Internet Sleuths, filled with user-submitted disappearances and unsolved mysteries. Then this page ends with a familiar set of panels from the Hollywood Reporter preview. It shows her post, "Maybe one of you out there saw something or knows someone that can help me find his body and find the son of a bitch that took my brother away from me." And her username, mbrewer60. Maybe Monica Brewer was born in 1960? I would say that's a safe bet. But what about Sam? Well, when you turn the page, we see the person you've all been wanting to see more of. Sam, smiling, chatting politely with Charlie's grown son, Louis. "Thank you so much for the day, Louis, and say hi to your mom for me." Louis replies, "Have a good weekend. I'll see you when you get back." So where is Sam going? And the next panel answers that question. Trips became fewer and fewer. After a while, it became easier to only take them during holidays. and her store sign confirms she's closed for Easter weekend. However, in my opinion, I don't think she's just taking time off. She's feeding the monster within. And it looks like I was right. And never to the same city twice in a row. I haven't been back to Centerville since Nigel. And there you have it, Nigel Albright, the fanboy turned serial killer from the first series, still haunts her memory. But Sam is refining her process. It seems like she's more careful now. But for how long? This also confirms for us that the city Sam used to frequent to satiate her urges was named Centerville. And as she loads boxes into her old Ford Bronco, we get another ominous internal thought. That means further trips, and that means overnights. She's also packing a tent and a sleeping bag as well. It makes me realize how much I missed camping. Of course, this is a nod directly to the prequel comic Preludium, where Sam made her first kill during a camping trip in Germany. Murder and nostalgia are disturbingly intertwined together for her, apparently. This is Sam's new MO, it seems. Feel the urge, take a vacation, murder to her heart's content, and then return to Woodbrook. But then the real danger for this series is hinted at. I can feel myself on the edge of getting desperate. Feels easier than ever to slip up. That's not just a stray thought. That's Chekhov's gun. The moment she admits her control is slipping, we know it's only a matter of time before something or someone pushes her too far and causes her to slip up. And there you have it. An extended preview packed with quiet tension, emotional devastation, and subtle but deliberate narrative setup. If Beneath the Trees Rite of Spring is going where I think it is, then this preview isn't just a glimpse of things to come. It's the trigger being cocked. Every panel feels like it's loaded with intention. A grieving sister, a trail gone cold, and a killer on the edge. So the question becomes, when the gun inevitably fires, who's going to get hit? If you've got theories, drop them in the comments below. I want to know if you caught something that I missed. And if you're just as excited or unsettled about this series as I am, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more eerie deep dives right here on Comic Drops. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.